So you can of course do that, and then yeah, because I get that question a lot of times. Should I stay in Durban? Should I stay in... Of course, on Thursday when you check in, you have to come to Durban, because on Friday we all Indians go to the expo to collect our babes and do a bit of shopping here and there in the expo, and then we gather in the afternoon around 1-2 baje for an India picture. So we are like so many of us, we make a lot of noise and click pictures. The race kind of starts at 5:30 a.m. It is a gun start. It is not your chip start. तो सबका time वहीं से start होगा. I'll come to that a bit later. But what it means is that I will get up at 2 o'clock. I will be ready by 3 o'clock. I will have my breakfast. It is important to eat because it's a long day. You will eat properly not before 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. So it is a very long day. So please ensure that you have a proper breakfast in the morning in your hotel where you're staying. Most hotels will open up for breakfast because it's a Comrades Day. So I'll get up at 2 o'clock. I'll have my breakfast, get ready by 3:15. Then my car comes. A cab comes. 3-4 of us get into that cab and reach Petermaritzburg between 4 and 4:15. You should reach by that time because then it gets very crowded. And there is a lot of traffic there. So last ka 500 meters you might need to walk. Get off your car and walk. Don't get worried. Even if you race starts at 5:30, so it's okay. But if you try and reach between 4 and 4:30, and because then you have to go to your respective section, you can't go to any other section generally, and then you have to wait there till 5:30. So that is what you got to do. So stay in a hotel which gives you which ensure that it opens up. Most of them open up at 2 o'clock for breakfast, so it will happen. It is cold at Petermaritzburg, so when you're waiting there from 4 to 5:30 or whenever, you will feel cold. Petermaritzburg will be single digit, 8, 9, 10 possibly. Uh, Sorry, will be 8, 9, 10 degrees could be. So it is cold. You need to have something which covers your hands, covers your ears, apart from your t-shirt. It is ideal to have a pullover because just you should not feel cold, because even when you run, right, you will run through a lot of open spaces, and then there is a times breeze blowing, so you don't want to feel cold. First 25, 30, 35 kilometers, you should not take out that jacket unless of course it's hot, but it's a different thing. I don't think generally it's good to have that. And बाद में you should have a jacket you can just simply throw, because you can't carry that jacket with you for the next 50, 60 kilometers, right? So कुछ ऐसा पहनो जो फेंक सको, पुराना हो doesn't matter, but it should be warm enough, and then you should be able to kind of throw it, तो फेंक देने का फिर बाद में. So that is what you should look to do. But please ensure that you have something. You feel cold in your hand, you feel cold in your ears. So kuch nahi hona is a risk. It is better to be overdressed and overcovered, and then chahiye to throw kar do. So wear stuff which you are okay to throw mentally, because there's no point carrying that extra weight on you for such a long distance. But it will be cold. And then when you land down in Durban is warmer than Pietermaritzburg. But what happens is, because we have run almost 90 kilometers, your body is weak. You at times have seen people shivering. So whoever is, when you change, if you have someone who is carrying something, you please ensure that that person has warm clothes, that person has some kind of a blanket, so that you can cover. जरूरी नहीं है, but कभी किसी को हो जाता है, then people shiver, etc. But try and see if you can do that. That will ensure that you have something to warm yourself even at the finish line. And then फिर वहां से you just walk to your hotel wherever it is, or you will get those small outside on the road, you'll get those small kumbis which will drop you. So that is on a bit on the weather, but please keep in mind Petermaritzburg can be cold, and generally is cold. So you should definitely be over covered. There are 6 cutoffs. I mean, please ensure you know what timing are those cutoffs, especially if you're a slow runner, because nobody is going to tell you where those cutoffs are. So while so in your mind or something on with you on your chit, etc., you should have a chit which is laminated, which tells you that first cutoff is at 30 kilometers, next is at 44, then 59, and then 70, and then at 80, something like that. So you should have that written. हर एक का टाइम लिखा होना चाहिए, तो आपको पता है कि अगर थोड़ा if you're on the edge, you should know that so that you push harder and ensure that you meet the cutoff timings. So वो stress नहीं होना चाहिए. 2 years ago एक mistake हो गया था by the authorities on the cutoff, but I don't think that happens every time. So plan your race in a manner that you are not like 2 minutes before the cutoff. Don't do that, please. Plan your race in a manner that you have adequate time for each cutoff, unless of course it becomes a tough day and a tough race, तो अलग बात है. But don't try to be on the edge. It is a gun time, so सबका time वहीं से शुरू होगा. So if your section, right, the section that you get A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H is a function of your qualifying time. So if I finish, for example, in 4 hours, I might get, I think, section D or E or F. But somebody who finishes in 4:49 will get a section which is H. So the H guy reaches the start line. He will take at least 8 minutes, 7 to 8 minutes to reach the start line. So he will lose 8 minutes out of those 12 hours. Okay. It is important to know that so you're not anxious. But does it matter when I have told you already that तुम्हारा 10 minute जाएगा? Then it should not matter. Because you then plan your race accordingly. 12 घंटे में फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, but अगर तुम्हें पता नहीं होगा तो you will get nervous. But now that you know that, assume you will lose 10 minutes to reach the start point if you're in section G or H. So accordingly, yeah, plan करो your race. Initially तुम किसी और सेक्शन में घुस नहीं सकते, घुसना भी नहीं चाहिए. बट व्हाट हैपेंस इज 5, 5:15 के बाद वो थोड़े थोड़े खुलने लगते हैं, तो लोग आगे जाने लगते हैं. बट स्टिल बजट करने का कि 8 से 10 मिनट लूज होगा इफ यू आर इन GNH. फिर कम लूज हुआ तो अच्छी बात है. Peter-Maritzburg has initially narrow roads, so people run on the divider. Be careful. You should not trip. You should not fall initially. So you have to be careful how you are running. There are places where it will be like a traffic jam, where everybody will have no option but to stop and walk. Do that because anyway you have no option. This is yeah. I mean, and don't worry. I mean, yeah, this is all part and parcel of this long 12-hour race. So you should, as I keep saying, plan your race accordingly. Plan your race cutoff to cutoff, and that has to be based on a very realistic estimate of your capabilities. You don't have to do that today, but when you are in May, when you have done your long runs, तभी तुम्हें अंदाजा हो जाएगा कि तुम 60 किलोमीटर 65 किलोमीटर 7 की स्पीड पे भाग सकते हो, 7.5 की स्पीड पे भाग सकते हो, 8 की कि 6 की. एंड देन उसके बेसिस पे यू शुड देन प्लान योर रेस and plan a finish time with adequate buffer. And then you break down that finish time into different cutoffs and then run accordingly so that you don't run very fast in the beginning. Because क्या होता है, if the weather is cold, we end up running fast and then we don't want to get tired or cramped in the end. Slow runners slow or realistic runners end up having a good race. Generally, people who run very fast in the beginning are the ones who suffer. So don't do that. Don't overestimate your capabilities. In a full marathon, if we overestimate our capabilities and we hit the wall at 32, 33, 35 kilometers, 7 kilometer ही बचा है, we can always walk and also finish or run slow and finish. But in this race, you can't hit a wall. You should not hit a wall at 65, 70 because you still have 20, 25 kilometers to run. Finish, right? So be extremely careful, be smart about estimating your capabilities in a very realistic manner so that over na ho jaye. तो वो एक ध्यान रखना एब्सोल्युटली जरूरी है, सो दैट मिस्टेक ना हो. And hence, I always say कि comrades में conserve, conserve, conserve. That is should be the mantra. Never go all out because no amount of energy is enough. Okay, so if you conserve करोगे तो last में downs मिलेंगे तो मजा भी आएगा. You can even improve your timing and you will have a lot of fuel in you to finish the race well. We don't want any of us hurt, injured, extremely tired, dehydrated. We don't want to go down that path. So कंजर्व करके रेस फिनिश करते हैं शांति से. प्लान कीजिए अकॉर्डिंगली. हाँ, लॉन्ग रन्स करेंगे. फेब टाटा अल्ट्रा जनरली इज द फर्स्ट लॉन्ग रन that we all do after a full marathon, which is a 50 किलोमीटर run. उसके बाद 3 से 4 हफ्ते बाद मार्च में एक 56 करेंगे. फिर अप्रैल में 65 करेंगे 3 4 हफ्ते बाद. एंड देन मई में, मिड में अराउंड और एक 50 करेंगे. सो देर द लॉन्गेस्ट that I have ever run training for comrades is 65 kilometers, not more than that, and that too only once in the training program. Otherwise, we run 50, 56, 58 and stuff like that, which is adequate. ज़्यादा करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. कुछ लोग 70 करते हैं, 75 करते हैं. Those are all individual choices and as per their individual training plan, which is absolutely okay. But yeah, I mean, I'm just telling you what is minimum required and what in a way has worked for me for 8 years now. Uh, Most of the runs like Tata Ultra happens on that Lonavala route from Bombay to Lonavala to Ambi Valley up and down. The other long runs, some people go to Satara, some people can do the long runs in Lonavala itself, where we self-organize it with a few cars on the road, etc. वो भी करेंगे. So we will release the dates of the long runs in advance so that all of you can prepare for it. And if you want to come and join at Lonavala, etc., you can definitely, all of you are welcome. But it is a self-organized run and it is not really a race. So थोड़ा adjust करना पड़ेगा, but that's okay. Most of the long runs we do late in the night. We start at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, so that by 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, we are done. जो भी mileage है 50, 55, 60, 65 खत्म हो जाता है. Otherwise, it gets very hot, and Bombay or India is generally hot in summers, right? So we got to be careful about that. And slowly build up your mileage, slowly build up your intensity. We don't want any of us to be tired physically and mentally in April and May, especially in May, because the race in June is very near. So temperamentally also you got to be smart about it. Don't get obsessed with Comrades. Comrades is an important race. It requires focused preparation, but we can't get obsessed with it. If 24/7 we are going to think only Comrades for 5 months, then we will definitely get tired. तो वो नहीं करते हैं. Rest of the life, professional life, personal life, family, सब let it happen. You can't shut any of these things to run a Comrades. तो वो नहीं करना है. Because what happens is after a lot of mileage in 3 4 months in April and end April, early May, that fatigue creeps in. So we have to be careful that that does not happen. So that come June, after you're tapering down, you're like ready and raring to go and have a really good Comrades. And yeah, so visa. My suggestion is to finish the visa in March itself. Please do not drag it to May, etc. Because what happens is once the travel season, the holiday season in India starts after the exams, visas can take longer. And then if you apply in the first week of May and it doesn't come till the last week of May, you will get nervous and anxious, and then no one can help you because the consulate follows its process, follows its time. If there is a lot of rush of travelers, international travelers going to South Africa, उतना time लग जाएगा. So please don't do that. Let us finish all our visas in इन फेब और मार्च, बिकॉज तब तक तो यू आर वेरी क्लियर के जाना है. टिकट भी हम ले चुके हैं, होटल भी बुक कर चुके हैं. प्लीज बुक द होटल्स early. Do not wait for the last month to book the hotels. Then you will not get hotels, and then you'll be running around that way. People also book Airbnbs, but Airbnbs may then you have to ensure that you get the right breakfast at the right time. You get breakfast in the morning. Most hotels have breakfast. Airbnb में शायद breakfast नहीं मिलेगा. They are okay. They are safe. People have stayed in Airbnbs, but I would prefer that most of us stay in hotels and stay in hotels around that Durban promenade area, so that you see a lot of runners around you, and there is a sense of safety and security. We generally advise people to not roam around alone in the night, because yeah, you don't want to get mugged and you don't have to give away your watch, phone, and money. Those things are possible. So to avoid roaming around alone in the night. फूड वाइज वहां पे मिल जाता है, कोई टेंशन नहीं है. वन इज योर होटल विल गिव यू फूड इन द मॉर्निंग. इफ you're an absolute vegetarian and Jain, then the your hotel breakfast में you will get bread and you will get fruits, you will get yogurt, you will get juice, butter, muesli, cornflakes, but पोहा उपमा वो सब नहीं मिलेगा. डोसा इडली वड़ा वो सब नहीं मिलेगा इन द होटल्स दैट वी स्टे. There is a small hotel there which is a little away, which is run by a Guju couple. They deliver. उन लोग डिलीवर करते हैं. ब्रेकफास्ट भी करेंगे, लंच भी करेंगे, डिनर भी करेंगे, and they are not expensive. I think they are probably 80, 90, or 100 rands a meal, which is 500 rupees, 450, 500 rupees. So वो ऑप्शन भी है. And a lot of gujus, lot of vegetarians, lot of Jains opt for that food. Otherwise, there are restaurants which are Indian Pakistani kind of restaurants which will serve aloo parathas and tandoori roti and dal, rice. वो सब मिल जाएगा in that location. So that is not a problem. Food is not a problem. There are 3, 4 places जहाँ पे ढंग का खाना मिल जाएगा. So when you're there, it's not an issue. Of course, during the day of the run, as I told you, please ensure you have your breakfast, and then please have with you whatever you need through the run: gels, dates, nuts, चिक्कीज, कुछ भी चाहिए वो कैरी कीजिए. वाटर पॉइंट्स में you will get potatoes, you will get bananas, you will get a bit of biscuits, water, Energade. ये सब मिलेगा लास्ट में. इन द सेकेंड हाफ you'll also get coke, chilled coke and ice cream soda for that sugar rush. तो वो सब मिलेगा, बट बियॉन्ड दैट कुछ नहीं मिलेगा. बिट ऑफ ऑरेंजेस यू विल गेट हियर एंड देयर, बट अदरवाइज उसके अलावा जो भी चाहिए प्लीज कैरी इट विथ यू ऑन योर सेल्फ. एंड इफ यूर ट्रेनिंग, इफ यूर गोइंग टू हैव जेल्स, यूर समवन हु जो जेल लेते हैं, तो इवन लॉन्ग ट्रेनिंग रन्स में जेल्स लीजिए टू जस्ट सी एंड फिगर आउट वेदर योर बॉडी कैन कोप अप विद दोज जेल्स. और क्या बचा है? आई थिंक आई हैव लार्जली कवर्ड सब कुछ. अगर now just if you have questions, just shoot. I will please raise your hand and ask questions, or just ask questions so that if there is something that I have missed, I will share. Or if you have any other queries, doubts in your mind, we'll solve for, because that is the whole idea of doing this session. So I'll open up now. I'll pause now and open up for questions. So feel free to ask anything that you want to ask, however stupid you think it is. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, hi. So my question is on strength training part. Is there a specific strength training plan available for comrades, runners, or any specific exercises that can actually help?
See, not really, because finally, Again, you got to one, of course, you got to strengthen your legs, you got to strengthen your core. And then when you say, okay, I want to strengthen my quads, strengthen my core, what are the five, six exercises? You will get everywhere the same ones, right? So also it's a function of what suits you, what suits each individual, uh, depending on what issues you have in your leg and back. But yeah, there is nothing specific that we ever tell. But the general guidance is that strength training is important. Strengthen your quads, strengthen your legs so that they can carry you for that longer distance. Of course, core is always important, so we got to strengthen our core. But yeah, I mean, your upper body can be can be the least preferred, but yeah, it's not that it should be fully ignored.
Okay, clear.
Yeah, this is Chandramohan. I just want to understand, like, is it advisable to have ankle weights for some of this strength training session, or a kind of few hours in a day, so that it gives strength on the ankle, calves?
See, you of course in your strength training you can do that depending on how intense you want to do things, right? That's of course the function of how you can what you want to achieve, and then you have to always be measured about recovery also, right? Because we need to give adequate time to recovery, and hence sleep becomes important. See, if you are training 5 6 times a week, unless we recover well, unless we sleep well, unless we hydrate well through the course of those 5 6 months, it's gonna be difficult. It's not gonna be easy. So, जरूर करना है. You want to use ankle weights for strength training? Please do so. I don't think it is really advisable to wear ankle weights and roam 4 5 hours in a day. I don't think I have come across anyone really prescribing that as a practice. No trainer, nobody does that. So I would not really advise that. But yeah, in your strength training, you want to use ankle weights, feel free. Just just we got to ensure that we are able to recover from all that we do, because we will end up running 50 60 kilometers a week on week for almost 16 17 weeks. There will be some weeks where we'll run 90 to 100 kilometers a week, 80 to 100. So please ensure that we recover well. We sleep well, we recover well. We cannot compromise on sleep. नहीं तो April, May में आके you'll really get tired. So focus on ensure that you sleep well.
Yeah, hi.
I say too.
Yeah, my question is related to the finish line. Are we allowed to deposit what we want at the end of the race at the in a counter at the finish line in advance? Number one. And
Yeah.
number two, once we finish, and how far is it from the finish line to the counter? How much time does it take for us to collect the
So
warm clothes before we can wear it?
so there is a talk back concept, right? Every race में होता है where you whatever you want at the finish you deposit at the start, and which you can do on Saturday, you can do on Friday, you can even do it on Sunday morning, and then you will get it there. It's not very far, of course. It will be a few less than, I mean, yeah, it will be a few meters of walk. Uh, so there, don't leave expensive items in your talk bag, because if they get lost, then there's nothing you can do. If you leave an iPhone and if it gets lost, absolute bad luck. Because फिर तुम उधर कुछ भी कर लो, the because that talk bag arrangement is outsourced to an outside agency, and at that point in time, there is just no support you're going to get from anyone to help you find your iPhone or expensive items. So please do not leave anything expensive in your talk bag. Just whatever clothes you want, a pair of shoes or chappals if you want, but uske beyond kuch mat rakhiye. Just not worth the risk. So if you're not someone who runs with a phone, please do not deposit the phone in the top bag, and you will easily get it. Going to the international tent from there can be is always a little tough, because it's crowded and you got to climb a bit, but it is what it is. And you already finished the race, you got the medal, so usko bear karna padega. उसके बारे में क्रिब कंप्लेन करके कुछ नहीं होता है. And then at the international tent, you will get some food. If you expect you will get food which is palatable to an Indian taste, वो नहीं होता है, because people from 30-40 countries are participating in the race, so they can't really give you upma and shira and idli at the finish line. So do not expect that. If you really want to eat something Indian at the finish line, please ensure that you have it in the talk bag, or if you have family with you, they are carrying something. Because I have seen this repeated complaint that अरे finish line international tent में ये नहीं है, वो नहीं है. And actually, I have tried hard. I have tried hard discussing with CMA, tried hard arguing with them, but they always come back with the reason that okay, तो एक तो हमको veg चाहिए, please. Then they have to have something which is cooked in the morning or on the previous day, something that can be packed in a bag, something that can cater to tastes of people of other countries, blah 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 करके they are never able to give what we want, what we as Indians want. Okay, we can argue that we are a large contingent, so they should dance to our tunes, but ऐसा नहीं होता है और ऐसा होगा नहीं. I would be really surprised, but yeah, I mean, so don't expect Indian food at the finish line. If you want to eat something, there is always some wrap होगा, some sandwich होगा, muffin होगा. वो it's okay temporarily to eat. But yeah, if you have your family coming, then family can be there at the finish line at the international tent, so you can get them to carry something. Yeah, yes, Sujit, go ahead. Yeah, sorry. Setu, have I answered your?
Yeah, thank you. Just one more practical point. So
Yeah.
once we deposit the bag, probably they'll give some counterfoil, something as a proof of that, which we need to carry in our pocket throughout the race, right? Is it a small tag or what is they give as a
So
proof?
वो क्या है ना, the bib, looking at your bib, they will give you. So what you attach in the talk bag is the bib number, or there's a sticker which has the bib number, etc. So what you should do is whatever they give you, the sticker, you should just stick it on your bib. There are two bibs, front and back. It is important that you wear both the bibs. It is important that your bib is not around your phone, because the bib also has a chip. If the bib is very close to your phone, then the chip malfunctions, and then they don't have the data to say that you have finished the race. Okay, so please ensure that your chip is not near your phone if you're carrying a phone. If you're not carrying, very good, but if you're carrying a phone, please ensure that the chip is not near the phone. And there is a bib in the front, there's a bib in the back.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Yes, Sujit, Ruksi, yeah. Please go
Yeah,
ahead.
hi. So my question is related to like Airbnbs. I think you have already clarified that they are also safe. Only thing is
अकेला मत
breakfast.
रहो पर. See, I would, if you have company,
Yeah, family would be coming along.
then it's
So
okay.
that's why I thought
Yeah, people
Airbnb
stay at
would be better.
Airbnb, but again, it's a breakfast issue. If Airbnb में फिर, if they are not gonna give you breakfast, then
Yeah.
what will you do?
But like, will there be supermarkets? Because I think
There are, but तुम कहते हो कि there will be, but then you have to bread, butter, and you will
bread
carry.
omelette, like, can we get eggs
Omelette you
there?
can of course make. Omelette you can of course make, no problem. So there are supermarkets and Airbnb you can do all this stuff. Please ensure that what you book for Airbnb has that cooking facility.
Right, okay.
All right. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, if you're someone who eats non-vegetarian, then the hotels you will get a lot of nice options to eat, because you have to have food there on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. At least 4 breakfasts you need to have. Right. So you need to be clear in your mind that if you are staying in an Airbnb, you will have to have that breakfast made 4 times, which is
But
okay if you can manage.
there are no places like we can go and have
है,
breakfast,
सुबह
lunch, or
मिलेगा, वो
dinner.
8, 8:30 बजे खुलेगा. You can go and
Okay,
do that. So there are those restaurants. You can go. Burger मिलेगा, French fries मिलेगा, fish fries मिलेगा. You'll get that. It's not that you will not get to it, but it's just that do you want to eat all of so many of those things? Uh, yeah, so वैसा है वो that there is an, as I told you, there is an Gujju couple who will send what they make, they will send. So you got to pay for it. It's okay. I mean, it will not be a problem. It's just that what is convenient for you.
Right. Actually, my family don't prefer Gujarati food or
Oh,
Indian
so,
food
so
when
no, no,
they are
but then yeah, so correct. So you will get those options. If you're staying in Airbnb, there are 2, 3 restaurants around that area which will be open around 7, 8 o'clock. Then you'll get to 8, 9 खुलेगा and you will get. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, Sujit, go ahead.
कौन सा शूज डाउनहिल के लिए प्रेफर करना चाहिए? शूज के बारे में जरा गाइड कीजिए सर.
See, shoes, I mean, again, see, I have always preferred shoes which are more cushioning during the training also and during the race also, because it's just a long race and a lot of hard work. So cushioning always helps. So people wear what suits them. People wear New Balance, Hoka, Adidas, Nike. People all have also done the Comrades in the carbon plated shoe, which has worked well for them. So I think the broad guidance is probably cushioning is important. So you should pick a shoe which has cushioning. Beyond that, what brand you choose is what gives you comfort. Always, as we all know, we generally leave some room in front of our toe, because this is a much longer distance where your toe will keep banging onto the shoe. So if it is a tight shoe or your feet is broad and wide and you are wearing a narrow shoe, so definitely you will have 1 or 2 nails popped out by the end of the finish line by the time you finish. तो वो नहीं चाहिए. So have a shoe with cushioning, have a shoe which is half a size, which has some space in front of your toe, so that जब bang भी हो तो भी ठीक है. Anyway, I think most of us lose our toe nails as long distance runners, but yeah, people I've seen people putting a bit of Vaseline before they wear the socks, or wear socks which have those fingers, so that I mean blisters ना हो, chafing ना हो, whatever. So वो तो सबको पता है, सबको क्या hurt करता है, कहाँ क्या hurt करता है. Accordingly, people prepare in that way.
Any suggestion?
On a shoe brand, you mean?
Yes sir. Yes sir.
So I have over my 8 comrades, I think I have used Adidas and New Balance. So, but what happens is these also, when as models change, when new model, they are not always the same as the old model. Then somehow there is a bit of change which comes in. But I have always used Adidas and New Balance. Uh, New Balance, I have last 2, 3 years, I think I would have used that Fresh Foam 1080. But the recent model is different from the old model. So अब मुझे भी, I also have to find a new model, whether I use New Balance or Adidas, or I don't have an answer अभी, but अभी देखेंगे, अभी तो time है. But yeah, I've used Adidas and New Balance across my 8 comrades. First, I used to use Adidas. Now I use New Balance. Yeah. Yes. Or coach, anything else? Have I tried to answer most of your questions? I'm sure you will have a lot more as you train. Please put them on the chat. We will try and answer all of them. There has been a bit of chaos on the India Comrades chat. I'll try and I'm sorting it out so that the chat gives maximum benefit to all of us individually and collectively. Yeah, carry rands for local payments. You will need to carry the local currency, which you can either get from here, or वहाँ पे भी airport पे ATM से you can withdraw if you have a bank account which allows that. But yeah, and the ride from the airport to the hotel, generally there are those 15-seater tempos which are always waiting, and they will take your luggage and drop you at your hotel, and they take some, I think, 100 rands. So those are available generally. So you can go from the airport to where you stay will be another 45 minutes to 1 hour. So please keep that in mind. Whenever your flight lands, it will take at least 1 hour for you to reach home, 1 hour plus for you to reach your hotel. So, but if they take around 100 rands. per person. So if you're booking a cab, it will be 400, 500 rands. Uber works there, so you can use Uber as well.
Sir, I have one more question. I've seen a lot of long distance runners when they train in Pune, they have this hydration pack on their back. Is it the best way to run a long distance run to have a 1 liter or something hydration pack, or is
Yeah,
it
I
not
would.
required?
Yeah, I won't want to carry the weight of 1 liter on me. See, there are 42 water points here. 42, okay, for an 87, 88 kilometer distance, which means practically every 2, 3 kilometers there's a water point. Now, if every 2, 3 kilometers there's a water point, do you really need to carry something? See, when you're training, you're alone, or there are no water points, so probably you don't need. All you need is space on you to carry your gels and dates and whatever works for you. But yeah, I would not really carry water on me. And the water points are very long, reasonably long. So you will get your chance to pick up water. They are very wet water points, so you have to be very careful. Or when you're running around the water points, you don't want to trip because people are just drinking, and water is not available in bottles. It is available in plastic sachet. So you will peel it off with your teeth. Even Energate is available like that. You'll peel it off with your teeth and drink, and you just then throw it on the road around the water point. So those areas are wet. So you got to be careful when you're running on those water points so that you don't trip. A lot of times on the road, there are those divider, cat eyes as we call them, reflector lights. Please ensure that you're careful of those and you don't want to trip, because what happens is after a really long distance, sometimes there is a bit of disorientation. You're running in a zone, you don't see those things, and I've seen runners fall and get hurt and injured. But yeah, I mean, you got to be careful about those things. So to answer your question, yeah, I mean, why carry so much weight on you? Because if a water point is available every 2, 3 kilometers, I would not want to carry. And if you want water, you carry it in your hand and go from the water point. Okay, so I mean, presuming if there are no more questions for today, we can stop. But yeah, feel free to ask. We will try and answer. There are a lot of us now. Satish has 13 comrades. I have 8. There are others who have 5, 6, 7, etc. So people will answer. कभी कभार थोड़ा इधर उधर हो जाता है conversation, but otherwise it's a very helpful gang, and that is why I think we see now more and more runners and running. It's an absolutely amazing race. Now that all of you have registered, let me tell you, it's a I always tell it's a race every long distance runner must do. It will just tell you. It's a great experience. You will make great friends. The friends you train with. It is one race where you run as an Indian contingent. There is no other race where you come together as an Indian contingent to run the race. We will design a T-shirt. We will design a jacket. And it will be an online ordering mechanism. We've done that every year. We want everyone to wear the same T-shirt or singlet or whatever, because it has the same design, and people recognize that as an Indian T-shirt, an Indian contingent, and they will shout for you. They will root for you. They will call out your name, and that is a very encouraging boost that you get when you're tired and down. There is a lot of Indian diaspora in Durban who will root for Indians. So it is necessary that it is good and necessary that we all wear the same T-shirt. If 300, 400 of us are wearing the same T-shirt, we are easily recognizable as Indians, and it's an absolutely great experience to wear that. So we'll design that, and then you all can order the design. The design will never be perfect. Somebody will like orange, somebody will like blue, somebody will like white, but it's okay. I mean, finally, you want a T-shirt which fits well, it looks nice, and gets recognized as an Indian T-shirt. So we do that. If your family is traveling, one point I missed. If your family is traveling with you, it would be nice and important that they meet you during the race. So people, what happens is families hire cars and then they try to meet the runners at different points. And you can at best meet at 2 points, 30, 40 kilometers, and then again at 60, 70, wherever, at midway also. But you have to start early. It is important that the family starts around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, because then you can reach on time. Otherwise, what will happen is you will get stuck in the traffic and you will not be able to reach the point where you want to meet the runner. Family wants to meet the runner और पूरा waste हो जाता है and frustrating हो जाता है. So you have to plan that well. You have to book the vehicle in advance. You have to ensure that the driver knows where he needs to stop, or you have to do your homework. To do that, we can probably, if a lot of families are coming, we can form a separate group and the families can discuss. If two families are sharing the same vehicle, it is good if you can do that only if the runners are of the same speed. If one is a 11-hour 45-minute runner and the other is a 10-hour 30-minute runner, तो प्रॉब्लम है, बिकॉज एक रनर आगे निकल जाएगा और दूसरा पीछे होगा, एंड देन द टू फैमिलीज कैनॉट वेट फॉर बोथ द रनर्स टू फिनिश. So keep that in mind. We have had such situations, then one family has to sacrifice. Okay, so don't do that. If it's best to have your own car, and it's a great experience for the spouse and the kids to meet the runners, for them to see the absolute exuberance and energy of Comrades and just 23,000 runners, 24,000 runners running on the road and through this grueling race. So वो जरूरी है, that also you should plan and plan properly so that they get to meet you during the race. Yeah, cool. So I think probably seems yeah, we have answered it all. Feel free to reach out for anything that you guys need. In the future, we are always happy to help and we will help. Most of the things I think I've covered. Good luck. Stay fit. First qualify. Don't get worried. It's a very simple, easily doable race. And I'm sure 95% or probably 100% of the Indians will finish. Okay, so, and all of you will definitely finish. Keep that positive approach and just train appropriately. Do not overtrain. Do not overtrain. Train appropriately depending on your potential, your capability, your capacity, depending on your professional life, personal life. वो सब balance करके train करना, so that neither part of the life is like impacted adversely because you're running a Comrades. Okay. So yeah, thank you everyone. I have recorded it. I started recording a little late. I missed it, but I'll put it up on YouTube also for others. Thank you everyone. I'll just